gal ori'skraan, riduur, yaim, davika.
Olarom join the farm Mando'a 101.
Listen up, verd'ika. You are no longer cries, whistlers, fats, or orders. You are verd'ika now, and your ships are mine. You Landur bunch will be verde when I'm done with you. I will make proper Mando'ade out of you. You will shoot better, run faster, march further, and fight harder than ever before. You will be the embodiment of everything a Mandalorian should be, and I demand 110% of you, or I will come after you as if I was Kad Ordo himself. Is that clear?
Crusador!
Hey, Sukui, Olarom. I'm Anubis, and for those who've been listening for a while, you already know it. I've been studying and working with Mando'a for, I think now it might be over 10 years. I'm a linguist by hobby, and I'm one of the contributors behind the Mando'a expansion project, which is hosted on mandocreator.com, where you can always find the latest edition of the Mando'a dictionary. And coming up, the one you've all been waiting for, it is...
Velen Olarom. Yeah, waiting for, I don't know, but 10 years.
Yeah.
Holy cow. But time flies. So what I have to mention, as always, is that I'm not by now a hobbyist linguist, but I really want to learn Mando'a, and Anu hopefully can teach us. You know the drill. So, of course, as always, we will link the Mando'a dictionary and all new vocabulary, and trust me, there's a lot of time in the description. So... community part. This is really getting more and more, but I love it. So we have had our first community call, community get together last Friday, and it was a blast. Originally we planned for it to be an hour, 1.5, and in the end I think it was 3 to 4 hours. So that tells you something. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, and we were 8 people, right?
Yeah, I was surprised by how many people joined and stuck around.
Yeah, so it was super fun.
It was a lot. It was a lot of fun.
Aside from that, we're kind of in the summer lull, so to say. Not a lot going on except of it being very hot and us having to cope with that. But there's one thing I want to announce just ahead of time as much as possible, and that is that we are going to be at Speyer Science Fiction Treffen, the science fiction meetup in Germany, the big one again, at the end of September. So if you're there, make sure to come by and say hi.
Looking forward to that. It's always a good time.
It is, for sure. All that's left for me on the commercial side here is to tell you that if you want to support us and our project, you can do so on patreon.com/Mando'a for verd'ika, all in one word. And our lowest tier, the verd'ika, starts at $3 a month. €3, that is, slightly more in dollar, but around $3. What you get for that is Discord access to our community Discord, where we hold that fun community call we just mentioned. Bloopers and bonus episodes that we upload to our Patreon, and some articles that I wrote up, as well as in the higher tiers. You get a sticker pack, a signed trading card, a And also for our highest origami cut tier, there is a mug with either decode or mere shab on it, depending on which one you prefer. So enough with the commercials, on with the show.
Yes. All right. Well, I guess we should talk about that intro sentence. That is what we normally do at this point in the show, isn't it? Yeah,
I guess so. I guess so.
Meven? We've only been doing this for
8 months?
a few months.
9 months? Something like that?
Yeah. Professionals. Coffee. Okay. So the intro sentence was Gal ori'skraan riduur yaim dav'ika. And as you probably noticed, that's not exactly a sentence. It's really just kind of a list of things. It literally means beer, big eats, like big amount of good food. Riduur is usually your spouse, but in this case, it's just kind of, good company. And return to camp, return to your home to rest. And it's a set phrase in this case used in the military context, which basically translates to R&R, or going ashore, going back home after a long tour or something, long campaign.
Basically, recuperate, fill the tanks,
Yep.
Be ready for your next deployment.
Exactly.
So that kind of already sets the mood for today's topic, and that is basically on campaign / life in the military. And I sat down and thought about how to go about this, and for the sake of the better delivery of the topic, let's just assume that the Mandalorian military, at least at some point, had a more formal structure than we see today. And that's honestly something we don't get too much on anyways, aside from the Neo Crusaders having like a rank color system, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
So what I will do, just a disclaimer, is to draw a little from my military experience to paint a picture here. That's not necessarily lore accurate, but it's fun and it's kind of a neat thought experiment. Let's put it like that. So,
yeah,
let's just assume the little, I don't know, Kad Ordo wants to become a warrior. He got trained by his father, like it's uses the Mandalorian culture, but now he wants to enlist in the great army of Mandalore, so and so. So he will start out as a verd'ika, right? A private. So little warrior, as you know. What's gonna happen in kind of this basic training? He will have like drill sergeants, his rusalore, and they will kind of want to make a professional out of them, of him and his comrades. So they want to get them, that's our first new word, lisish, competent and qualified, right? Can't have an incompetent soldier on the battlefield. So that's the goal here. But as all of you know that saw any military movie, being it charheads, full metal jackets, and as a former soldier myself, I have to tell you, it's true to a certain degree. These drill sergeants / trainers, however you want to call them, they have their own sense of humor, so you're gonna suffer. Aarayir? Is it aarayir or aarayir? Anu.
Aarayir. Yeah.
So aarayir would be to suffer, and aaray would be pain. So we're throwing that in there. So one sentence I quite literally heard from one of my drill sergeants back in the day was, Nidura, you disgust me. so if you as a recruit fail to do something or to perform to the level the sergeant is expecting of you, you would hear stuff like that. So I remember pretty vividly that one of our drill sergeants was like, "Yeah, you disgust me. It's a shame that you're allowed to wear the same uniform as me."
Man.
Yes, I mean,
no mercy.
yes, true. But what's really something in military psychology? It's sad but true. It's that common enemy. You unite the man in the hate towards you. And at least for me, it was like the further we progressed in basic training, the more the facade, like the mask, crumbled, and you could see that they were doing that on purpose. And as soon as they started to see progress on us being capable, they tuned it back a little, So, but yeah, still, that's something. So, a thing that's also in basic training is gonna be your best friend and worst nightmare is your backpack, your birgaan, because if you're an infantryman, what most Mando'ade would be, let's be honest, you're carrying that thing everywhere with you. So at least that was what they made us do back in the day, like our backpack being loaded with, I guess 45 pounds. About something like that, and you had to take that thing everywhere. Depending on the day's training and duty, it could be even as much as 60 pounds. And I remember starting out like a really scrawny guy, almost toppled me over when I first had to put that thing on. Like it was, that's really something. Yeah, but yeah, the also the theory behind that worked. It's making your heart used to the weight, and like after 1 or 2 weeks, you're not feeling that anymore. So
yeah, builds up your endurance.
Yeah, also really trains your legs.
Ability to attini.
Yeah. I was thinking about that one. Yeah, Catini, endure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So one thing you also would regularly hear from your drill sergeants would be "Olar, get over here." So either just them having a bad mood or you having sharped up with something. So So then just a word I'm gonna throw in there as is kegike. Oh God, help me anew here.
Kegishe.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is just an order on command, but yeah, kind of goes in the same direction. So things you would learn in basic training would basically be to march in formation or stand in formation, which would be the formation would be paru. You would have many gekan military exercise, and if I'm not mistaken, Anu, correct me. That's gekan is like almost war, right?
Basically, yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to know if I got that right. So it's starting.
We've got that ge prefix, which is the almost thing prefix, and then a kan, basically. So yeah, almost
cool.
war.
Yeah, just I just noticed I start to pick up on the word parts a little bit. So so one thing, just at least for me, and I discussed this with Anu, we could see that in Mando'a. Don't take that as a set rule, but what in my head would work, and we had that in the German army. So your superior officer tells you this and this is your dang it, your mission. Yeah, your mission basically. Yeah. And you're gonna do that, and that. Understood me? And if he said yes, it was just execution. So do that. That would be davaab in Mando'a. Funny thing that also is kind of this military culture, not only basic training, to be honest, is just this everything is really shortened. So it could well be that as a superior officer would be like, weapon cleaning, understood, execution. So like, no need for full sentences.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, interesting. Like technically, davaab is like the noun, and I could totally see that being like a quirk of an officer that says it like that. But if they did want to say it as like the actual command, the sentence, it wouldn't be too much longer. It would actually probably work pretty well as the command as well, because it would just be kebabir.
Yeah, fair.
Which for sure would be said a lot.
The funny thing,
maybe even to the point of shortening it just to kebab. Who knows?
Vab. Oh yeah. So the thing is in the German army that the German word just execute is also like the noun. Ausführung. It's the noun. So that's why that came to me. That's why I brought it up.
It could happen.
That's why I was aware that was a quirk. So that's why I brought it up to discuss with you.
There's always quirks that develop in the military context. So I wouldn't put it past being possible.
Yeah. So exactly. So if you had all your training, whatever, and you'd become a soldier that others could jaraanir, look up to. See how I snuck that one in there. Yeah. Yeah. Scratch that. I forgot one thing that is interesting. One thing you would also learn in the basic training in any military is to kartai, to do a sitrep, a wash up, just share information. So yeah, if you did what you were told or whatever, you would go to your superior officer and be like, "Sir, executed whatever, sir." I can't. Yeah, I have a hard time translating like my examples for that right now, to be honest. So mission accomplished, basically. Yeah. So or also if. I guess it would also be the same thing if you were in the field and would have scouted, for example, and would give the report. It would also be a kartai, right? From the meaning, yeah. Okay. So what I wanted to get at earlier is at least all militaries I know of, you always have this kind of ceremony when you got graduate. Mm-hmm. Or basic training? Could you say that? Would that be graduation?
Yeah, it would be a graduation ceremony for sure.
Yeah. So and as far as I know, correct me on that out there if that's not the case, but in the German army it is. You would have to do a pledge.
Yes,
that would be koor.
Yeah.
Let's just imagine. So you little verd'ika, little Kad Ordo. Now are done with basic training, and you would have to find your ways around the bigger military. Now you left your training unit, so there is some things you need to know before entering the bigger context of this military organization.
Yeah, and to get a little note in here for all you fanfic authors out there, this is like one of the most requested things whenever someone is writing a fanfic and they want to know something in Mando'a. These rank classifications is always like way up there, frequently asked. So listen
makes
closely.
Sense. Yeah, makes sense. I suspect this. So we have some bigger unit types that we didn't now mention because in the combat tactics episode we gone about like small units tactics, right? So your immediate like platoon or squad, the Tratalit. Now we're speaking like the bigger picture. So we have ori'skraan for a brigade. We have the akata for a battalion. Funny note on that point, there is a social society in the Mandalorian mercs for veterans and active service members. That's called the Kabur Akata, the Protector Battalion. Just as a little fun fact there. If you're a mercs member and you served and you're not part of that now, go and do so. Then we would have the Alverde, that is the commander. It's not specified of how big a unit, so I would just guess that that would be your kind of general or marshal. Right? The guy in charge of everything.
Mm-hmm. Probably, at least.
Yeah. So we have brought up that in an early episode, but for completeness sake, you would have the Adorat, which is the captain. You, of course, have the Veralor, the lieutenant, which actually is my at least current rank in the Mando mercs. You would have, so you have your Rusalor, your sergeant, and one that I read for the first time is the Alor Us, the corporal. So, but good to know. I'm wondering why. Is that a newer word, Anu? Because
I don't think so. It's
interesting.
It's just one. Yeah, that one's an original Karen Travis word. It's just anytime you try to go through the dictionary and find all military words, you're gonna be there for hours, and you will for sure miss some because there's just so many.
Tell me about it.
Like I mentioned in our earlier episode, if you're wondering where all the word budget went, this is
word
it.
Budget.
This is where it went.
I just love the term word budget. So yeah, one more thing we have is the Olaverde. That's a company, also a bigger unit type, right? Yeah. And then all of that builds the chain of command, Kirin. So if you're wondering why that is important, imagine having a little private. What did we say? Kad Ordo.
Yeah.
Having
Kad Ordo, verd'ika.
Having a complaint and going all the way up to the Alverde. That doesn't work. So you you keep the chain of command. So he would report to his corporal, to his Alarus or to his Rusalor, and then it would go the chain up. Yeah. So you may be laughing if you're not a military member or haven't served, but that's a real problem. Like there are always people try to go to the next higher authority, and it messes things up because it clutters the process so much. So, and just like overall,
the all-encompassing term for the leadership roles.
Exactly, yeah, that would be the Olarom, the leadership command.
This is a word that I totally forgot existed until very recently. So that's an interesting one.
Yeah, like as you said, like I comped like the whole dictionary a second time for military words, and I also stumbled across some. I was like, I never read that one before. Like, and I even kept some out on purpose for a future episode. Hint, hint. That might have to do more with commando style missions. Hint, hint. but I mean, we're still at 50 words, and I think we might have had as much for the combat tactics episode. So
right.
There you guys see what Anu meant with all the word budget. It's crazy, really.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, little Kad Ordo now knows the ranks of everyone around him and how to identify them. So he gets sent to his first deployment on a campaign. And for campaigning, we have some vocabulary that is new, but also we have to think about a campaign isn't the same necessarily, right? So what's going on right now is it like a big crusade? Is it just a squabble with some rebels on Mandalore? Is it a neighboring system? So this will basically really influence how campaign is fought and what your main duty is. Will it just be peacekeeping, show of force, whatever? That put aside, we have a word for invasion or an act of war in general. This is akanar. So to be the mere shep for once, that's also from akan, war, and nar, action. So action of war, right?
Yep. War action, quite literally.
War
Yeah.
action, yeah. So as I said, just war would be akan. So our whole army that is on that campaign would be Mando'ade. Also, like how do you translate that? That's even hard to put in words.
War people. A lot of the times when you have these like people terms, it uses ad, but ad literally means child. So if you really wanted to be literal,
War
this would
child.
be children of war. But that's a very poetic way to say army, I guess.
It's just that Mando'ade and their damn dramaticness.
Just ara farming with the language itself.
Yeah, really. So the next one is one that I found like pretty funny, to be honest, because I have to draw out like the word for pineapple in German, and I think also in some other language, but would have to
nearly
confirm.
every language except English. Actually, it's one of the one of the words that is almost universal.
Okay, I guessed so, but I didn't check beforehand. That's why I don't want to say something wrong. So a stalemate would be ananas. But ananas is the word for pineapple. So that was pretty funny to me. So it makes sense in universe, in the language.
Yeah, because it literally translates to, all and or all but nothing, basically. So all but nothing is a stalemate. Yeah, everything, nothing. It's completely, nothing's happening. So yeah, stalemate. But
yeah.
Also pineapple.
Also pineapple.
I could totally see this becoming some kind of shorthand thing, like in a game or something, and when somebody's tired of whatever back and forth, no one's getting anywhere, and then somebody just tosses a pineapple onto the board, like, I'm done with this. It's a stalemate. Taking this into the real world, I would love that to become a thing.
Yeah, I'll always be careful because of other pineapple meanings though.
Well, I mean, that would certainly be a way to break the stalemate. It would be more interesting than all but nothing happening.
That's true for sure. So but
moving
yeah,
on,
like in a more realistic or in universe scenario, a stalemate would probably be something like, if you want to have a real world scenario, of course, World War One is basically the embodiment of a stalemate, where millions of soldiers have gone to the meat grinder just to gain a few miles. So that's basically what you understand under stalemate. Also, one thing you would have if you're on campaign and want to control the area is verd'ika, outpost. This would be something we mainly see in asymmetric warfare, so to say. Vietnam or Afghanistan comes to mind. So
you've got these kind of temporary outposts that are fairly light and on the fly.
Yeah, because you need to project your force somehow. Control the area. Yeah, for example, there is a a pretty good book of a German soldier serving in Afghanistan. That and one episode he writes pretty in detail about is when they have to hold a hill. That's basically, how has he put it? Yeah, probably even Alexander the Great had a garrison up there. Because it was just a natural strategic point, but it was nothing happening there.
Yeah.
And he also told that he basically the position, the defended position there, which would be Pral, our next word, defended position, hill fort, was so old that they even found like Soviet ammunition there. So basically 50 years earlier, even the Soviets had a position there. So.
Yeah.
Speak of an unconquerable lands there. That's if you're into military history, like Afghanistan is super interesting because you had Alexander the Great there that were struggling. You had the Brits there in their colonial time. Then the Soviets tried their hand, and I mean, you all know the like most recent part of history there. But
Yeah.
just because it's so many cultural subgroups that they hate or don't like each other in parts, and also like the super mountainous terrain, you really can control this country like as a whole. It's crazy. Speaking of, so a campaign can't really be anything, as I said, from a peacekeeping mission to like something like we had in Afghanistan to a full-blown invasion like in World War II.
Mm-hmm.
Just what really is the situation
quick,
here?
In the if I'm not mistaken, in the Open Seasons comic, it was the trap that was set for the true Mandalorians, Jastamariel and all of them. It was supposed to be a peacekeeping mission.
Exactly,
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, they were coming in as kind of a police force.
Kind of to, if I remember correctly, to extract like the local security forces. Right. Kind of, if you want to keep talking in like real world counterparts, like kind of if Blackwater got trapped somewhere and the real military had to get them out there, kind of that deal.
Right.
So, but yeah, for our little example's sake, let's hope little Kad Ordo only gets into a peacekeeping mission and not into a full-blown war. So he can come home again and see his boer and his elite again.
Yeah.
So
have a good homecoming.
Yeah. Being in the field, there will be
some skills,
basic abilities.
And,
basic skills and abilities that our little Kad Ordo would have learned from basic training. One of it is, of course, orientating himself with the help of a compass and a map. So, of course, he needs to be able to know where north is, thanks to the compass. And while we're at it, we are also giving you the other directions just to have that out the way. So we had guard in the terrain episode, I think, because it was Gardish or something like for polar. So guard itself is north. Then we have Abesh for east, Vasur for west, and Kargav, that one's funny to me, for south.
Yeah. It's
so Kargav is opposite north then, or what does it mean exactly?
I that would seem to be the thought process, but I don't actually know where Ka is coming from here. That's that one eludes me. So maybe it's some kind of it could potentially be some really squished down over time phrase, or some really morphed sounds, because over time, if we're talking about language evolution, sometimes some sounds will change, like a G can turn into a K and things like that as language evolves. And so who knows, maybe something like that is going on here.
Yeah, that was so funny. While looking the vocabulary up, I was like, yeah, okay, like every direction has its own name. Cool. And then there was south, and I was like, huh, what? Why though? as if Travis gave up and was like, yeah, nah, I'm not thinking of another word for that one. So what? Yeah, that just took me by surprise. I was like, okay, what? So let's think for Kad Ordo's function that he is part of a Vanguard, like spying ahead, making sure the area is safe for the bigger units to follow. And a Vanguard, also one word that was super funny to me would be Olarom, which I know a certain someone of our Patreons just sitting there and giggling now, because Olarom is a typically like super frequently used Italian word that's kind of like the also, by the way, beforehand for that, like it's like a filler word in Italian. That's like, really, if you are on the beach in the summer in Italy, like we went like I think 2 years ago, and I heard it like super frequently, so it's really a thing. It's not just made up. Oh, dude, yeah, that's so funny. It like lives to show that there is only so and so many sounds that you can make with your mouth, and you will have double meanings.
Something that comes up a lot when it comes to what we do for making words and stuff to expand the language is considering what the word ends up sounding like if it's too close to something, in English or whatever that is not the best.
Yeah, sure, but it's just gonna happen.
I mean, we try not to let that be like prevent us from making a word, because it's gonna happen, and it doesn't really make a difference. But if it's to the point where it's going to be so distracting that no one's going to be able to say it without giggling or thinking of whatever else other thing, then yeah, probably not the best.
Yeah, but yeah, that's just the thing. Can't prevent it. So, as we said, Olarom Vanguard. So, scouting ahead for the bigger unit, whatever. Let's say they need to take a region, and the Vanguard needs to examine how much enemy forces are there, if the road's clear, whatever. So, what always can happen, that there is hard contact, right? Help me a second, Anu, what was it? Hard contact. Let's hope that little Kad Ordo doesn't get hit, but oh, shoot. Sharp, one of his comrades did. So that's why the Vanguard needs to have a warior with them, a medic. If someone gets kadala, wounded or hurt, he needs to tend to them. And let's hope that they don't get to be a kadal, which would be a casualty.
Yep.
So, and one thing that the Vanguard can do if they're countering opposition is, to call in artillery. And artillery would be drashiat. Drashiat. Okay, I wasn't sure how to pronounce it. Drashiat. Okay, so one thing that also will happen if they have to be there out on their own and have to operate independently from the main body of the army, they'll get hungry. And every, be it active or former service member, threats this. Damn armies. damn dry rations. Yeah, really, dude. Blech. Like, holy cow. A dry ration would be kai hast. So dry food, quite literally.
Yeah, very, very straightforward.
Yeah.
Food dry.
Food dry. And things that would be is also one funny word, yai or jai. What would you say?
Yeah.
Yai. So that's all. just instantly reminded me of yum. Okay, yai, which would basically mean that is richly nourishing, or I would just have translated to calorie dense, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that one's kind of a fun one because it's basically it's from the same roots as like belly or womb and also home. So it's like, yeah, this is something that really makes you full and makes you content.
Interesting.
Fills the belly. So belly.
Belly.
It literally belly.
Nice. Yeah, some items that would be found in Mandalorian dry rations would be hashun, which is a kind of a parchment bread that's cut really, really thin. So, the dictionary says even so thin that you could see the light through it. And then basically what you would do is to take water to make it edible again, to soak it full. At least that's how I understand it.
Yeah, seems to be.
Yeah. And the thing that reminded me of personally was we had in our German armies our dang it. Wait a second. I can't EPA. EPA is the word, yeah. It's like basically one man ration, if you translate the acronym there. We would have what we called tank cookies.
Interesting.
Because they were like super, they were tasty, but immensely dry and hard. So eating them on its own would leave you with like a super dry mouth, almost like dusty. Like, but soldiers are one. If they are one thing, then it's ingenious, and we gone ahead and we had also this like super high cacao, basically super dark chocolate, right? With like 80% cacao or something. Just really. What we would do would be take two of the cookies, put one piece of chocolate in the middle, and then just put it over the fire.
There you go. Make some s'mores.
Yeah, basically, kind of. I just wanted to say a similar concept, just with chocolate there. Or also we would have like a dessert in there. Okay, what's grease in English? Let me just look for a second. I don't know actually.
Grease?
Grease, yeah.
Grease. Okay.
Grießbrei.
Yeah, we don't really have that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Basically, like some porridge.
Is it rice pudding? Maybe
it goes in the same.
It's rice pudding.
Goes in the same direction, but it's not a grain, but kind of like that. Yeah. So what we just would do was also had that in like a little like metal tray, and then just put one tiny piece of chocolate in the middle and put that over the fires to let the chocolate liquefy, basically.
Apparently, after consulting the oracle known as Google, it says Greece is semolina in English.
Okay, whatever. Never heard of that. The more you know.
I have heard of it, but I don't know that I've ever eaten it, so
Yeah, it's probably one of that things that's not a thing in the States, as well as on the other hand, we have the case that like many like corn products are not a thing here. So kind of depends, I guess. I tried to get cornstarch here. Forget it, man. Yeah, for real. Like I have several like recipes that call for cornstarch. I guess potato starch works as well, but I tried to get my hands on cornstarch. No chance. Not happening. So, but back to the topic. also one yai food that you all should be familiar with in the meantime is the good old cake, aaray.
Oh, yeah.
And that's also actually one thing we spoke about at length in our community call, because I just baked some like the other week because we had Summerfest at work and everyone should bring something from their culture. And I was like, Shabra arvetise. So yeah, I mean, for real, we're like at work, we are like 70% Germans. So I was like, yeah, before everyone brings something German, might as well. But it was well received, so people liked it. But yeah, that's why we spoke about it. And that's like super calorie dense, lots of sugar, also lots of good fats because of the nuts in there. Due to that, also at least some protein, and super like keeps well,
preserved. I guess. Yeah, it keeps really well.
Yeah, so you can keep that for months without it going to waste. So I really can like kudos to whoever came up with the original idea for the cake, because it just sharply works in real life.
It works. Yeah. It's super lore accurate.
Yeah, that's so fun. So one thing that's probably lore accurate, but I won't ever try because I hate fish, is gihal, which would be dried fish. Kind of like the Native Americans would make with pemmican. It is supposed to have like a super pungent smell.
Yeah, I would be staying far away from that as well. That would make me lose my lunch. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I barely can eat fish as is. Like I kind of accustomed myself again to do like crustaceans at least again, and like clams. I can do clams, but like everything else, no, thanks.
Yeah, fish is a tough one.
Yeah, tuna is also okay, but that's after that's where you lose me. Funny thing is, I think that's really like being a 90s kid. Like I'm curious how it was for you. Like 80s, 90s seems to be like the ballpark there. Was your parents also like, oh, you need iodine, you need to eat some fish? And they were always serving me like this fish fingers, like That's kind of like fish nuggets.
Those did come up a lot, but really, my mom also hated fish.
Good for you. I
was spared a lot of that.
Mine didn't. Oh God, I was forced to eat that stuff so often until one day I really threw up from it, and that's the last day I touched like actual fish. Like, oh no, it isn't. Okay. One more aside. I'm sorry, but that one's hilarious. I have to tell that one. Like, when one of my ex-girlfriends, we were invited at her neighbors, and they made kind of a like buffet platter, like with cheeses and crepes and some olives and whatever, just finger food, and amongst them some nuggets. So I didn't know the people very well, so I wanted to make a good impression, right? And judging from the look of it, I thought like, yeah, looks like chicken nuggets, right? And so she arranged like a mixed like plate for everyone, and so we didn't have to pick our food. We got individual plates served, basically. I tried one and was like noticing, shoot, it's fish. But as I said, not knowing them well by then, and also wanting to do a good first impression, I sat through it and I ate it all, and I suffered every second of it. And like months, if not years later, she learned that I didn't like fish, and she was like, "Why didn't you say something?" I was like, I don't want to be a picky eater. I'm sorry. So yeah, guys, what do we learn from that? If you don't like something, speak up. It's no point in. So don't make my mistakes. Don't repeat my mistakes. That is. But yeah,
if you're out on campaign in the military and you don't like something that's in your kit, you could probably trade with another of your.
That's actually a thing. That's actually a real thing. We did that all the time. That's a good point, and kudos. Because
and
like
the word for that, which we didn't have in our preset list, is amganar. To trade or to exchange. Or amgan is the noun of a trade or an exchange. Amganar is to trade or exchange something.
See, you're being my crutch again. I wouldn't have thought of that. But yeah, now that it's an actual thing, because I, for example, hated like this super black bread, the pumpernickel. So I always traded that for something else, more coffee or whatever. So yeah. Also, one thing we also would do with our armies is one guy would collect all the coffee in the morning, and then we just would cook it together in like a big pot over the fire and put like all sweetener in there we could possibly find, because it would taste awful if not. So, but yeah, this is what you're gonna do. That's how it's gonna be.
Yep.
So, speaking of being on duty. So if you're doesn't matter if you're on base or in a camp outside, there are certain duties that you have to do in the military. No getting around that. And for sure not on a campaign, but even on a like exercise, it's all the same. So first you would have your fair share of being an aran, a guard. Then as it was in the German military, at least we would have, if we had like a really like a camp in hostile environment, so to say, like in a real exercise where there's hard contact and everything, we would also have a patrolling the area. That would be Bad Balut.
Well, so Tabalut would be the actual patrol.
See, that confused me. Is on patrol or what?
Bad Balut is how you would describe someone. Hey, where's this guy? Bad Balut on patrol.
I get it. Yeah, that was kind of confusing from the dictionary, but okay, now that makes sense, because I also noticed that there were several words for that and I couldn't wrap my head. Okay, now that makes sense. Good to know. So then you would also have Kihak. That would be a short watch of an hour, which is somewhat realistic.
At some point, maybe we will go into all of the various time words that
we have to go about that at some point. Yeah, that's hard to pack into something, but we will think of something.
Oh yeah. Maybe just like this one, they'll trickle in over time.
Yeah. But yeah, the hour watch is not unrealistic. So what I wanted to say, like in the German army, we had like this fourfold, so to say, duty rotation. That would be 1 hour of fire guard, basically fire watch more. It is like you see that the fire doesn't go out. Then you would have 1 hour of basically the where was it? Sorry, the Kihak.
Yeah.
So basically we call that like alarm duty, so to say. You were like in your position looking for the enemy, and if something near you gave alarm. And then you would have 1 hour of patrol, and then 3 hours of rest until the same thing was going on again. So
seems sensible.
Yeah, it always was kind of messed up, because your sleep schedule was going to absolute shits. And also I had once had like a sergeant that really wasn't capable of doing like a good like shift plan, so to say, and messed up so hard that I had duty the whole night, and just the moment I lay down, they were like, yeah, rise. We're marching like to our next position. I was like, I haven't slept 1 minute. Like, I was so angry. I remember it was in such a like furious mood for the whole day.
Yeah. The importance of good leadership.
Yeah, but also like the importance of sleep. Like, new hoy kids. Trust me. Like, one thing you learn in the military is to sleep whenever, wherever.
Yeah.
And you can sleep on the march. Sounds impossible, but it is. You will, like, after 10 meters, you will stumble across like a rock or something and be awake again, but you can like doze off while walking. The human body is capable of incredible things.
Even easier if you had a bucket on the whole time. No one can see your eyes. Yeah, I'm totally awake.
Yeah, but that's really a thing. like just that trotting ahead and like being sweaty and everything, and your exhausted body just takes every seconds to rest the brain that it can get. That's also something you will notice more than ever in the military, that there is a reason that we group sleep in different phases, because even if you can't get like the deep sleep that helps recover your body, your brain needs rest, the like REM phase to process things happening. Your body will take that one. There's a reason why sleep depriving is a kind of torture. It really is. So, but that's basically the duties that would befall you in a camp. And
one thing that got skipped over there.
Oh yeah, sure.
If you did need to call out the alarm to raise everyone awake, then that would be the bir'urcye.
Thank you, Anu.
Bir'urcye is the verb to warn or alarm, and bir'urcye is the alarm itself.
See, with my chaotic structure here.
Bir'urcye.
Yeah, but yeah, it's really a thing. Like, that's also something the sergeants laughed in basic training. Like, 4 o'clock in the morning, alarm. Company, get up.
Yep.
Yeah, and they would time you how long you needed to be fully dressed and stand at attention. Great. There was also one thing they called carnival. That was fun. So I'm curious. Anu, can you guess what carnival is?
I imagine it has something to do with dress. Yeah, I don't know.
So basically what would happen, you have also, like in every army, you would have certain uniform regulations, right? So ways you have to wear your uniform, that button has to be closed, whatever. Like
parading the people that failed miserably in dressing correctly in front of everyone else.
That's how it starts. What would happen if, for example, in my basic training, like our drill sergeant was like, okay, you have off time now until I see 3 people that break uniform regulations. And it didn't even take 10 minutes. So then we were like called into formation, and then it was carnival. And what carnival is basically they would tell us to, okay, change into your sports gear, change into your whatever, change into your combat gear, and always on a timer. And they would do that so long until everyone was staying in the time limit.
Yeah, wasn't able to stay under time. Yeah. Or until everyone was able to, rather.
Yeah. And the second thing was until everyone was actually in regulation. So everyone was dressed absolutely correct. That could take hours. So yeah, that's one of the examples where learning to suffering.
Yeah.
So
And it gets us neatly into the next topic on the list here of the military culture as well, because it had a purpose for sure. So it wasn't just purely, teasing and at the trainees' expense here. It had a purpose, but
you don't see it in the
this
moment.
teasing and yeah, for sure. The teasing and making fun of. There's a word for this in Mando'a as well, and it is chayakir. Chayakir, and this is this one is it's usually maybe more lighthearted than that one would be.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to say. Like, I think the like shenanigans that they do with you in training, as I said, you don't see the purpose in that moment. Looking back when you're further in your career, you absolutely see why they did that. But in a moment, you despise them. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, but the chayakir.
Yeah, chayakir. Yeah.
The one I always gets me. Yeah. Would be more like, imagine you're like the new guy in the unit.
Yeah,
and,
hazing. Yeah,
and you kind of get like, it's mostly not too bad a thing, but just pranks on your account probably. Like, one thing I think it's universally known as the blinker fluid.
Of course.
I think everyone have heard of that. Like, private, go and get some new blinker fluid. This one's empty. So, what we also would have is something that kind of goes in the same direction as our intro sentence. Pre-Kazakh. So, like the run ashore, the night out, the unwinding, so to say.
Yeah. Certainly a lot shorter than what the intro sentence is talking about, but yeah, these little nights out to get a little bit of rest and relaxation while on deployment.
So yeah,
always welcome.
Yeah, the guy I talked about earlier that wrote that book and also gave kind of like lectures or speeches on the German Armed Forces University and everything. There's a video I've seen like multiple times because it's so good. He speaks of basically a holiday for the head, vacation for the mind, however you wanna phrase it. So that's really important when you're under constant stress on a deployment, that you need to build yourself that little stretches of normality, so to say. And if it's just a breakfast that you procured, however, just as a means of getting rid of the stress, so to say.
Right. Yeah.
So then kind of the opposite of that in some sense would be kopanar. That's the drive to be active and productive. I think that's also something that every like ex-service member or current service member can relate to, is there are phases where nothing's really happening and it drives you crazy because you're trained to be in action. Like, that's something that's for real hit me very hard after I quit the military and worked my first civilian job. And just sitting on my shap for like 8 hours, it was almost undoable because I was so used to be in action, being active, walking around.
Yeah.
It was hard, man. So then we also have something that everyone knows that served or is serving. That's the good old hurry up and wait. So just for everyone that's not military affiliated, that's like an age-old joke, and also stands true for basically every military in every unit. It's like this, yeah, guys, you have to be there at this exact time, and then you stress to get there on time, and then you wait for half an hour. So that repeats and repeats in a like busy day that drives you crazy. Hurry up and wait. So I tried to translate that one with Chila nare balpare. Basically,
I do love the cadence of that.
it's fantastic. It's just by accident, but basically means as much as immediate or rapid action and wait.
Yeah.
Because that was the closest thing to hurry I could come up with.
Yeah, we don't actually have a way to say hurry. I mean, you can totally just do the order of act. So you could say like aarayir.
That's what I also thought about, but yeah, do what, right? So
yeah,
another gap for the team, I fear. I'm afraid. Yeah, no, but jokes aside.
But I like it. I like the shorthand of it. It's maybe not perfectly grammatical, but it is a fun one. So I like it.
As I said, like try to make that up on the go. Then we would have something that's definitely also, I think we mentioned earlier. I'm not sure. Anu?
Yeah, we didn't actually mention it. You were talking about your incompetent leader, the importance of not having one, but we didn't actually say the term. Yeah, kelhav would be the incompetent leader, or it's usually a derogatory term for a leader who is unliked, even if they are not necessarily incompetent, if they are thought of as such.
It's two reasons. One would get called that, to be honest. One would be really incompetent or just cruel for no reason is the other thing. Like there are also that guys that want to be like the hard hounds, and you're like, dude, it's not necessary. We do as you say. Can you chill? So that's something I also really came across. Like there was that company commander of our neighbor company, and the guy was such an chakar. Sorry, I really he like really drilled his people for no good reason all the time. Like he had you must know, like we were basically the support branch. Right, so I was in signals. We had logistics and whatever, right? All the support companies, and the guy was an ex-operator turned officer, and he really set standards on his people that they could never fulfill because they were not an infantry unit. They had other jobs to do. So yeah, really, kelhav fits.
Had a few of those in the working civilian world as well.
Yeah,
funny enough. Ex-military guys.
Yeah.
They were usually the ones doing that.
Yeah. you
come on, man.
Yeah, it's just not necessary. Like all good leaders in the military I like encountered had a good sense of what is it that we have to do to fulfill our mission and fulfill it well. And I'm gonna put emphasis on that. And the soldiers need to be able to have these other skills, but they don't need to be as, just being realistic about it, basically. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Then we also would have, every unit has that guy that always needs to show that he is better and he is putting more work in and he is whatever. An attention seeker, basically. That would be kotoya.
Yep, literally glory hunter.
Yeah, and that, yeah. Like,
Clout chaser.
yeah, but God. Like I had a corporal that thought himself to be oh so smart. And the amounts I clashed with that guy. Dude, yeah, because the funny thing is, all his superiors thought way different, and he didn't get it. It was honey to my ears whenever he got shouted at. Like typical military thing is also just shouting out like your surname.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. You know, it's honestly, I feel like that's something that is so common with those types. Maybe it's some kind of internal insecurity or
I
something
guess
they
so.
have or
I guess
what.
so. Yeah.
But man, it happens so much that like the worst clout chasers, the worst kotoyase are the ones that are also the ones that just don't get it. They are not
Yeah.
in line
Yeah.
with what
No.
is expected at all.
I think that might have to do something with how to say narcissism, right? So you perceive,
Yeah, it
you
could
have
be.
to perceive yourself as better, or your ego will take a hit.
Yeah.
So kind of like that. But yeah, one thing that just fits perfectly with that in there is our beloved phrase "oribuje hikovit." Literally big helmet, tiny head, but I would probably for understanding more translate it with big helmet, no head.
Yeah, little brain. It's all hat, no cattle.
Yeah,
is
something
the
like that. Yeah,
Southern U.S. term for it. Basically, overinflated ego.
yeah. That most of the time comes with it, with the Kotoya thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then we would have something or a word that isn't necessarily an insult, but it's mostly used by military members to phrase their bewilderment of someone's behavior outside the military, with just calling them a civilian. And that would be pretty straightforward again. Nevert, no warrior, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, one thing that also goes in kind of this work ethos that we also had with Kopana, with being active and being productive. Like if you're like, so to say, a good soldier, someone that takes it seriously, then you would tal onidir, like you would put yourself so much in it that you would sweat blood, basically. So give it your all, kind of is the connotation of that, right?
Yeah, it's composed of blood plus sweat, and yeah, so it's sweat blood, but essentially that really does just translate to giving more than you actually have within you.
Yeah.
And just still keeping on going.
That's something interesting that, yeah, of course, also like professional sports athletes do that. But that's something, if I had to put emphasis on one thing I learned in the military that really helped me with life in general, then it's that. Because with basic training and all those drill sergeants, or even later with some good leaders, they exactly knew how far to push you. Like, for example, in basic training, there were moments where you had a feeling like your body is just giving out. And one of my leaders said a phrase that was paraphrasing here, like, if your mind is of the opinion that you can't give no more, your body is only at about 80%. So there are like 20% more in you that you need to learn to get out there. And as hard it sounds, it's true. So you can really learn to, I mean, it's a security mechanism in your brain, really, to
Of
stop
course, yeah.
soon enough. But if you can learn to really tap into these reserves, and it's, as I said earlier, it's mind-boggling what your body is able to achieve if it got the right motivation. Like, you all know the stories of mothers lifting buses and whatever, right? So
Right. Yeah.
so this primal strength that's somewhere in you, that's kind of limited by our brain security program, so to say.
Mm. Oh, there is one more word I wanted to add to the culture list here. That is, I would normally say it's, hot off the press, it's freshly minted, whatever, from the language team, but that's not actually true. This is an old word that's been around for years and years and years, but for some reason escaped being added to the original dictionary. And we found it in a recent discussion. And so we will be adding it in the near future here.
Okay.
But it is a kangan. And it's essentially this bloodlust of seeking combat and battle above all else. Forsaking all your obligations and duties to only go after combat, a kangan. And it's actually from the Old Republic, so it's been around a long time.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's a good hint, because that brings up something I wouldn't have thought of, but it's also interesting, speaking about military culture. There is one interesting tradiction, so to say, in the duality of seeking combat, you could say. Many military members that I have met or read or listened to videos, podcast, there's this thing that almost all, at least being infantry or fighting force, have this, want to have their metal tested, basically, but also tread it, right? Because you can have as much training, you can be drilled for years, but you will never know if you can be steadfast in that moment until you experienced it. There even were commandos or other high tier units where people just freeze in their first engagement. That's something you can train. You have to find out. That's kind of, you really want it to happen, but also don't, because it's kind of like the box of the Pandora, right? You will not know what's the outcome before Schrödinger's combat. So but you can be the best shooter and the toughest guy. If you lose your nerves under fire, you're not used to your unit, as hard as that is. And that's, for example, something why you could say, admire that one guy I spoke about earlier with his book, because for him it was the case. He developed PTSD in his deployment, and he had the bad luck, so to say, to be in the deployment in North Afghanistan, where the German army had its hardest engagements in that time, basically. So they, I think it was near Kandahar. Don't get at me if it was another region, but they lay under fire for 3 days straight, basically.
Jeez.
Yeah. So he noticed something changing at him, that he, as soon as there was shooting, he couldn't get himself to do anything. And he was a really well-trained guy, paratrooper, with special training for close combat and everything. But I think it was in the audiobook of David Goggins, where he said, in a unit of 100 men, you have 20 that shouldn't even be there. You have 40 guys that will do the bare minimum. You have 20 guys, maybe 30, depends, but like let's say 20 for the sake of the argument that will stand their ground, that will fight, that are good soldiers. You have probably 19 that are like the real deal, tough as nails. And then you will have the one guy that is the real warrior that is unfazed of all of that. That was kind of his analogy. And I think it's not terribly wrong.
Yeah. It really goes into something that's a kind of a bigger and super generally applicable rule of thumb, I guess you could call it, is the 80-20 rule. Where
absolutely.
in any situation, in any community, or really anything, it applies almost everywhere, and it's really freaky when you start to notice it, is that 80% of the work, or 80% of whatever is being done in any situation, will be done by 20% of the people that are supposed to be doing it, or the things that are supposed to be happening, or whatever. It's
Pareto principle.
It's wild how applicable it is.
Can apply that to pretty much anything. The way I learned it was like 20% of the work will guarantee you 80% of the outcome, but for this last 20%, you have to put 80% of the work in.
Exactly.
So oftentimes it's not even worth to put in like this. Like I use that approach when learning for my exams, to be honest. Like I was like, if I'm like 80% sure and fluent or whatever, like adapt, it will carry me through. It's not worth to put like 5 times more the time in to get that last 20% out.
Yeah.
For some things, it's true. It also goes in that thing, if you can master, you can get proficient in something in like 100 hours, but in order to master it, you need to put in like 1,000.
Right.
So yeah, really good point. Really good point. So how do we get back from being all philosophic to our what is it called? Maybe our word of the week this week is
Accordion,
which is a war cry, battle cry, however you will call it. Oh yeah. So that's
yes.
If you want to see us doing that, you can check some YouTube shorts. We did it several times now.
Oh, yeah.
I think we also cut it into the like 4th or 3rd episode at the start. Yeah, something like that.
Yep.
So
yeah, it's always a lot of fun, and certainly something that you would have happening in a military campaign setting.
Not even only in a campaign. Like we did that every formation,
pretty much everywhere. Yeah,
so
all the time.
That's kind of really also a culture/identity thing. So if you serve in a certain branch, you wear that battle cry, or you do that battle cry with a proud chest, so to say. So yeah, for my unit, for my first unit, it was Horido Joho. That's the like German Rangers, the Jäger. And later with the paratroopers, it was look up, like quite literally luck down, just get down in one piece. So yeah, but without further ado, let's get into your guys' homework from last time.
Yeah, just a few simple ones to read through here, it seems. Let's see here. We have from Soren Lok. Nitong Balgai Veshok. Neralit Andrasha Ori Muninar Bal Ori Beskarish. And what the intent there was, I am Tong and my name is Veshok. My clan all grow very tall and are tough as nails. So, I think just looking at this, I think you got it pretty straight up on the money. You could say nergai, but Mando'a being so pro drop everything, having just balgai veshok is totally understandable and totally fine.
I was also,
Of course,
sorry,
go ahead.
I was also stumbling about over that kind of, but I also thought like, yeah, even in English we are like, yeah, name is this and that.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Kind of works. Yeah, it's kind of like the cool C version.
Right. If you're just being really casual with it, yeah, it works. And of course, veshok being a large, like evergreen tree, so perfect name for a tall, tough tong.
We like it.
Yeah, so I think you probably don't necessarily need on here. It's probably understood if you just say not, but if you want to throw it in, it really doesn't hurt. And yeah, everything is good. I don't have any corrections to make. Well done. Round of applause. Clap, 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 clap. Okay. Next up, we have from the Master Commander. Yeah, maybe you could maybe next time you'll change your name to Alverde. Now that you know the word. But anyways, Master Commander said, Meni taong nergai atin, meni ganare vabir bor bik ani, suhat mekirdi jatishia davaab. And the intent was, if I was Tong, my name would be Atin. When I start a job, consider it done. Still true when stopping would be better than completion.
I love it.
That's great. So yeah, many tong nergai atin. Yeah, this works as is, I would say. It's a little bit you could probably add a few more words in here to make it a little clearer, but I think it works fine. Just like in the other sentence, it's the things that are dropped here are pretty understandable given you set the stage with the me ni tong if I was tong here. So that works just fine. So many ganade vabir. So this one is what you actually said here is if I choose to do a job. So I guess you could say that is when I start a job. But yeah, when you choose to do a job, it is done. Essentially, consider it done. Yeah, that works. I think that works fine. Still true. This is still the truth. Yeah. Mekirdi. So in this case, this one is a little bit of a tough one because you're trying to use what is basically a nominalized verb here. You're trying to use the action verb as a noun. So stopping in this case, in English, we do that by adding ing onto the end of it and just treating it like a noun, which is like a noun, which is called a gerund. It doesn't quite work in Mando'a. So how can we fix this? Still true. I think you probably would want to say, I'm gonna have to think about this one because it's complex in how you would try to say that. The difficulty here is that Mando'a doesn't really have very clean ways to say should, essentially. It's because what you're forming here is it's a like a conditional thing of, you know, this should happen, but it doesn't. And really, grammatically or with vocabulary, this is kind of difficult, bordering on impossible to form in Mando'a, which is one of the reasons why the whole very active language is the best way to go about it. I would say that for now, we could just let it slide as it is, which in this case, it would translate more literally to this is still the truth when me stopping. So you have a dropped subject here to make the verb make sense would be better. So jateshia is better than, in this case, you would want to change it to me executing the action. So it's still true if me stopping was better than me executing. So suhat me kirdi jateshia vabi would probably be the way you'd want to do it. That way you have transformed it into a more active sentence of still true if I stop the action is better than I execute, just with the dropped ni in both clauses. Tough one though. And you wouldn't expect it to be tough like that, but it's these weird little grammatical forms that make things difficult sometimes. But good job exploring the boundaries of what's possible here.
Yes. Can sing a song of that.
That's how we got to where we are.
Yeah.
For sure. All right. So, and then the last one, just for a bit of fun here from Vari, we have, in keeping with the edgy mentality of the tongue, I would choose the name Jaraanir or Ash Strike. I like the way you namified that perfectly edgy tongue name. Well done on that. So, with our complex grammar dissection out of the way here from your previous homework, then it's time to put out the next homework for you guys. So what have you cooked up for us today, Velen?
Actually, I thought the way that I also try to translate hurry up and wait, that I would love the audience to try and translate some military phrases or even warrior wisdoms, just something out of that universe that speaks to you.
Yeah, I think it would be fun to have some military idioms, or if you can think of some maybe Mando in universe potential military idioms or phrases that might come up.
Yeah.
Or if you know some from your own personal experience, of course, then always welcome to throw those in, try to translate those. That'll be fun. I like it. And really, the purpose of all of this homework really is to get your hands dirty and get into these complex, difficult to say things that it's hard to form in Mando'a, just to really figure out how the language works.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. And also like to have a reason to skim the dictionary, because I always notice it helps me to learn immensely if I have like a target, like if just reading through the dictionary will not stick as well as, for example, me prepping this episode and say, okay, I want to find military words. So
Right.
I have, at least for me, it's sinking in way better like that.
For sure. Yeah.
So
I can tell a difference at least.
I hope so. It would be some wasted time if it didn't get a little better in the last 9 months. Probably I need to take some time and scroll back in our chat and see how far I have to go back until I have to cringe about my attempts.
Right.
That probably would be
Always
a good
a fun
indicator.
exercise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's with every hobby or whatever you have there when you look back on your old work and are like, oh my God. Like I have that with the very first iteration of my Mando kit where I'm like, dude, what did I think? So yeah. But I mean, that shows you're growing and you're getting better. So
yeah, it's a good sign.
So Katini. So without dragging this out too long here, you know the drill, guys. All that leaves us with is to say to you,
Ret'urcye me.
ret'urcye me. Take care, guys. Bye bye.